Hello everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, and this is Flosstube video number 78. That's really exciting. Like, I'm almost to 100 videos. That's crazy. Anyway, welcome to my weekly update. It's been exactly a week since my last update. Nothing has changed. Like, I haven't ordered anything. I'm not waiting on anything. I'm being very good and not trolling Mercari for more patterns, and specifically Teresa Wensler's, but I've been very good lately. The only times that I purchase anything is for my actual projects. So I have been very good. With that said, I am going to have to place an order somewhere to get the beads and the last silk for my chatelaine, but that's not a today problem. That's probably a next time I pick things up problem. But I will kick right off into it. I'm starting with, these are all of the projects for March. Project 1 is the Favorite Designer project, and for March, it is Lavender and Lace, and it's called Lady of the Thread. This is what it looks like. Now, I recharted it in Floss Cross, and I'm doing a color conversion of her dress. And so far, I think the color conversion was working very well, but I'm not in that area right this moment. So the last time you saw it, I had this blue flower done, or some of it done, not fully done, and I might have had just a little bit of the red, but I finished out the greenery in this area. I finished out this blue flower. I finished out those couple of that were there. I finished out this red flower and the greenery into it, and I'm in this yellowy orangey flower. And then a little bit below that flower, there will be some more blue flowers and then a ribbon that hangs down. And once I finally finish that area, I will jump back over to this side and work it down until I get to where her dress is. And then once I've hit the area of where her dress is, I'll jump back into the middle and work on her dress. Now I do have stats on this one because this one is in Pattern Keeper. Here we go. So for the week of March 2nd through March 8th, I got to work on this 6 hours, 19 minutes, and 43 seconds. And of the days that I got to work on this, I put in 958 stitches, so almost 1,000 stitches on this baby. It has brought my total time to 58 hours, 35 minutes, and 3 seconds. And I am at, as of March 4th, was the last time I got to work on this last week. As of March 4th, I was at 7,803 stitches out of 17,306. And I'm at 45.09%. So I'm almost at 50%. I'm like 10,000 stitches away, and then she'll be done. Now, I have been working on recharting the next lavender and lace that I want to work on. But I'm only as far as from the top of the piece down, I'm only as far as her nose. and I haven't worked on it as much as I would like. I do need to get back to working on that, or else I'll be finishing this lavender and lace with nothing to move on to. Well, it's not that I don't have it to move on to. I just want it electronic version so that it's easier. It really is easier with Pattern Keeper to have things electronically, and I don't want to mark on my original patterns for the lavender and lace like I usually would, because I would like to be able to resell it on the secondhand market, you know, for a couple bucks here or there. So anyway, that is my favorite designer for the month of March, Lady of the Thread Lavender and Lace. And then Project 2, ooh, I've also got statistics on this one. Project 2 is the Dutch Beauty Sampler. And Project 2 is either a sampler or a black work, and for the month of March, it is a sampler. So I am in this section right here for right now. All right, so here is the progress that I've gotten. So the last time you saw it, I had some of this flower done, like the top parts of it. And so I finished out this motif and I moved down to the next one, and I've been working down here. Now I still have a little bit of this plant to finish out before, because this plant was mostly done on the last page, but there's a little bit that's on this page. Now this one I also have some statistics on, not all of them because of the way that I brought it into Pattern Keeper, because obviously it's a paper pattern. I scanned it and I brought it in. It's not perfect, but it works. So Project 2, for the week of March 2nd through March 8th, I got to work on this 4 hours, 19 minutes, and 8 seconds. And it's brought my total time for the project to 79 hours, 37 minutes, and 32 seconds. So last week when I worked on it, 3/2 through 3/8, I got to put in 928 stitches, and it's brought my stitch total count to 15,288. I don't know exactly how many stitches are in it because of the way that I brought it into Pattern Keeper. Right now, Pattern Keeper tells me I'm at 15,949 because of yesterday's work. Out of 245,700. Now, obviously, there's not 245,700, but it's just the way Pattern Keeper brought it in. It also tells me that I'm at 6.49%, but I'm much further along than that. Just not quite sure how far. Anyway, this is the Dutch Beauty Sampler. Again, I forgot to talk about my fabric counts. The Lady of the Thread is 14 count, and it's just a fabric that came from the craft store. I can't remember if it's the DMC version or the Charles Craft version, and it's in a gray color, but the color is not a named color. It's like a numerical color. I just don't remember what it is. This one is 14 count Aida that I hand dyed myself, and I did this in a Come Dye With Me video, so there will be a link in the description if you want to watch how I dyed this video, or how I dyed this fabric. Okay, that caught us back up. Now, Project 3 is it's a wish list, like it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and the websites that I frequent have the wish list capabilities, and so I was able to wish list the item. I did get this from 123 Stitch. It is the paper copy. Once I have finished the stitching, before I go through and add the beads, but once I'm done with the stitching on this, I'm probably going to have to buy an electronic version of this so that I can see the back stitching in color, because the directions don't make any sense, and this is a black and white paper copy, and so it's kind of hard to tell what's going on where. So I'd like to have the electronic version so I can see it in color for the back stitching, but that's not until very, very, very far away. So this is the Misty Morning Vineyard by Chatelaine. And here is my progress. Now this fabric is from, oh my goodness, stop. This fabric is from Fiberliscious Yummy Fibers, and it's called Dreamweavers. And this is 32 count opalescent Lugana. Okay, so here is my progress that I've been working on. The last time you saw it, how far had I gotten? I know I had these and this part. I think I had started coming down the last time you saw it. So I finished coming down. I got in part of the peacock's tail here and then finished coming down. Now I'm working on like the inner colors, bringing it down. But this page is almost finished with the stitching parts, not including backstitch or beads, but this part is almost done with the stitching, and I need to decide if I'm going to finish this motif out and just, keep doing it symmetrically like I am, or if I'm going to go up and like finish one half, and then I don't know which direction I want to go with this. I just know that this first page is almost done as far as the stitches go. Like I still have some more in here to do, and I still have some more here, but pretty much this page is done except for the back stitching and the beads. So this one, for the week of March 2nd through March 8th, I got to work on this 4 hours, 27 minutes, and 3 seconds. And it's brought my total time, project time, to 25 hours, 13 minutes, and 43 seconds. So, lean too far forward. Okay, so here it is a little bit closer. But like in through here, the missing parts are beads. A little bit is some back stitch. In through here, it's back stitching and a couple of beads. Same down here. It's missing some beads in through here. This gets some back stitch here. Same here. This is like it's cut off, but it's the same as what's going on down here, so it will extend up further. But there's a bunch of beads and back stitching in through here, and then there's a bunch of beads that come down in through here, and some in through this tail part and down here. So I really am almost done with this section. I still have some, like what's up here has to be mirrored down here, so I do still have some down here to do besides what's over here, but it's really close to being a page finish for this. Okay. And then project 4 is Plaid Bucilla's 4 Seasons. And I am using the called for provided kit fabric as well as the kit floss. The fabric was a 28 count ivory even weave that I hand dyed by myself. I did not do a come dye with me video for that one. I'm up in this spring quadrant. Okay. So here's my progress. I have finished all the stitching, not the back stitching, but all the stitching in this section. Then I jumped over here and started working on these cherry blossoms. I've been sort of doing a modified parking as I've been going because it's the same 3 shades of pink and the same 2 shades of brown. So I just I started here and then I jumped, I started with the lighter color. I jumped over here, did the stitching, jumped over here, did the stitching, and then I probably jumped it over here and then parked it for a little while. And then I did the medium pink and jumped and then parked. And then the same thing with the darker pink, jumped, 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 and parked. And then I did some of the browns. And then I would park it, and then I would finish, do the stitching over here, and then jump it, and then jump it, and then probably park it. And then that's just how I've been doing it. I've been doing it in little jumps and bursts with a little bit of parking because it's a lot going on over here. And I didn't want to cut my thread after each, couple of cherry blossoms and then a little bit of branches. So that's what these hanging threads up here are. They're my parked threads for now. But I'm almost done with this area. So I got it up to here and it's above this border here. And so I'm starting, I'm finishing up here and then doing the 90 degree, and then I'll be coming this way. And I'm not sure if I want to go ahead and do the back stitching on this now while, it's in the frame and not moving and, stuff, or if I should finish working on all the stitching and do the back stitch last. Normally that's how I stitch. I do all the stitching first and then the back stitch last. There's a couple of cases that I've found it more beneficial to go ahead and do the back stitching now before moving on, and I'm sort of weighing my pros and cons with this one, and I'm starting to lean towards finishing it with the back stitching before moving on to the next area, just so that it's done, so that you can also read the word spring, because right now that's not very readable. If you didn't know it was supposed to say spring, I don't think that you would see that it's supposed to say spring. But anyway, this part is almost done, and that makes me very, very happy. So this one, I got to work on it 3 hours, 22 minutes, and 52 seconds, and it's brought my total time to 24 hours, 47 minutes, and 42 seconds. So it'll also give the sheep some more definition. It'll give the trees a little bit more definition, and these 2 butterflies, not that you can tell that those are butterflies right now, but these 2 are butterflies. One is it's facing you, so you get to see both wings, and the other one is it's on its side. I hope that was understandable. All right, so that is my 4 regular weekly projects. Now, let me pause this really quick and go grab the temperature projects I was able to work on this week, and then I'll be able to finish my video soon. Okay, so now on to the segment of where I got to work on temperature projects, and I've gotten to work on them for about 30 minutes each time that I've gotten to work on it. So it's kind of a toss-up if you want to call this my daily 30, or if we're strictly calling it temperature projects. But I have 10 projects that I have numbered them 0 through 9, and I look at the daily high temperature for the day, and then the second digit in that number is what picks my project for the day. I did not start this. I got this off of somebody else. I got this off of Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. I'm not sure if she's the one that started it, but it's something that people have been doing for a little while now. I was trying to do it last year, and after I got my job, I just didn't have as much time, but I've rearranged my schedule, so I do have a little bit more time, and I do have 30 minutes that I can focus for my temperature projects. So going over my temperature projects again, Project 0 is my Doctor Who diamond painting. Project 1 is my Pansey crochet blanket. Project 2 is the purple landscape cross stitch. That's one of those pre-printed ones that I got from a random website. Project 3 is the Irish crochet. Project 4 is French beaded flowers. Project 5 is monk's cloth Swedish weaving or Huck weaving. Project 6 is a butterfly cross stitch. That's also one of those pre-printed kits that I got off of a website. Project 7 is the purple baby blanket. Project 8 is the peacock printed cross stitch. It is a white peacock. Also one of those kits that I got from some site. And then Project 9 is the granny square crochet blanket. So starting from when I filmed my last video on March 4th. And so starting from then on, so March 5th, it was 62 degrees and it was the purple landscape. And, all right, hang on. It is supposed to look like this when it's done. And this is one that I had originally started working on it this way, realized that the deeper I get into it, it's going to be harder to stitch. And so I flipped it on its side, and I found I didn't quite like working on this on its side because I have to do the stitches backwards from how I normally do it. And so I've sort of more or less gone back to working on it on this side. So anyway, I worked on some stitches down and through here, a color, and bringing it down. And then jumped up here and worked on that same color, bringing it down till I got back up here to this area because it's the same color that I was working on. So I was just pretty much adding some, you can see what's on my needle, it's a purple color, but just adding some stitches. Now, this looks really pretty, you know, from back here. And I know that it's hard to see what I've done because of pre-printing, but if I flip it on its backside, now you can see the areas that I've stitched. It's going to be very pretty. I just don't know if I'm ever going to finish this in my lifetime because it's massively huge and this isn't a priority project. So then on 3/6, it was 35 degrees and I was supposed to work on the monk's cloth project, but I didn't get to work on it that day. I had a very, very busy day that Friday, and there wasn't time for me to work on it, and that's okay. Then, after the weekend, on 3/9, it was supposed to be 68 degrees, and that is the printed peacock. Hold on. This one. Okay. So this is the picture. And here. I'm just up here. So I finished this square and then did some of the black in this square and then started some of the red. And then where the red came down, I stitched 2 colors of red down here. But just 30 minutes of work on it. And then on 310, it was 67 degrees. And that's the purple baby blanket. It's a crochet piece. This is what it looks like. It's a fillet crochet. There's not much progress from the last time you saw it. In fact, I think there's less progress because I stitched it all the way across to the end. I started counting my stitches. I was supposed to have 157 stitches and I had way more stitches than I was supposed to. So I had to rip it all back out and I'm trying again. Once I get this, like this and row 3 done, because those are basically my foundation rows, then I'm following the pattern for the fillet part. But it's just getting these foundation rows in. So anyway, here it is with less progress than you saw it, because all the progress that I did in that half an hour got me to the end. I started counting it and I went, oh no, and had to rip it all back out and then started again and only got this far, which was even less progress than what you saw. So that is the way sometimes. That is the way. And I have to make sure that I remember to zip this bag up every time, or else Merlin, my little cat, will get into it big time. Okay, and then today, if I get to work on a temperature project, it is supposed to be a high of 43 degrees today, which is crazy. Yesterday was 67, almost it was over 70 degrees. I know that it was, but my phone only, like when I took the high, it was in the morning, so I know that it got higher than the 67 degrees. So it was well into the 70s yesterday, and then today it's in the 40s, cloudy. The weather here is so crazy right now. Like I've said this before, we didn't get an actual winter. And so I'm afraid that the winter, when it comes, is going to be pretty brutal. But then I'm also like, let's just not have winter this year and keep going about our life. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that is my 4 main projects and then the couple of temperature projects that I got to do between last week and this week. So I will let everyone go and let me look at the calendar really quick. So next week, spring break is supposed to be happening. So I do not know if I will be able to film next week. I'm going to assume no. And then I will definitely try to film the second week of spring break because my kids are 2-weekers. And yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to have that to film on the 25th because that will be the last update for March, and then whenever I come back April, like after that, the next one is April 1st. April Fool's Day is would be my next day to film. So I would just have the recap and be like, these are what I'm supposed to be working on today. So yeah, next week, probably not. I will try, but let's just assume that I'm not going to get to it. And I will definitely try to film on the 25th. Now, if it just so happens that I do get to film next week on the 18th, then that means that I probably won't get to film on the 25th. So it's going to be a toss. Like when my kids are home for spring break, it's my younger one. She's 9, but she's still all about mom. Well, she's all about anybody that's here visiting, but she's still all about mom. And so she's the holdup during the vacations, the school vacations, because she has to be with me, asking me, talking to me, doing things. So, yeah. So I feel bad that I can't really plan, but at the same time, I know how the kids are, so I just feel better saying I'm probably only going to get to film one of those weeks. And it will be because I'm like, okay, I didn't get to film last week and I need to film. You guys have to go upstairs. Don't come downstairs until I'm done. That's usually how it is when they're home on break. So anyway, I will let you all go. I will try to see you next week, and if not, I will definitely see you on the 25th. And that's it. That's it. So I will see everybody then. I can't wait to show off my progress on where I've gotten.